Good morning, YouTube! It's Friday, so it's time for another episode of Strategos. Today we are going to talk about the Tyranids. Not the Tyranids as a whole, not as a codex, not as an army, but as a specific build. We are going to talk about Horde Tyranids. Most of you will tell me now that they are not competitive anymore in the current meta. I have to disagree. Why? Please let me explain. We are talking here about the true Horde army. Not the kind of Horde army that you used to see on internet on the bat reps. These armies with 90 guns and Molochs, flying hive turrets and carnifexes are not Horde armies. Of course, if you are playing Space Marine bike army and you've got the 30 bikes and that's all of your units, 90 guns looks quite hordy, but they are not. We are talking here about over 200 guns on the table. Not a single monstrous creature. Why? Because it will make your enemy's anti-tank firepower useless. It will be as useful as the bolter, and in most cases even less. Why? Because it got no two shots in additional shots in closer range. So every melta gun, every plasma gun, every las cannon, every kind of this weapon, every kind of anti-tank firepower is at least overpriced in fight against a Horde army. Second thing, the footprint. This army is so huge that it will flat all over the build of the table. If you've got a skilled enemy, he will just crunch into one corner, not to have to take work against all army at once. It will try to shoot you wave by wave, but it's not so easy. If you're fighting against a very mobile army, the footprint is again your strength. Why? Because you just delete parts of the table for the enemy's movement. If you will flat all over the half of the table, the enemy just won't be able to move there at all. If an enemy got some jet bikes or skimmers that are not tanks, that won't be able to just move through you, they will have to jump over you. And they are not connecting their movement with a flat-out movement or turbo boost. These are two separated things, so you won't be able to jump 36 inches, for example, but 12 and 24. If you won't be able to jump with 12, then you just cannot do it. You will have to decline your shooting and then use your flat-out movement or turbo boost to jump over the enemies. But if you're not shooting, you're not a threat. Yes? So, let's take a look at the army that I created. This is, from the beginning, Warlord is a Tyranid Prime with non-crown. And the second HQ, second Tyranid Prime. Why? Just in case. These guys are independent characters, so they are in Hormagaunts units. In the cheapest Hormagaunts units, not the one with adrenal glands. Why? Because the enemy will have to think again, what is he targeting. We've got 3 single venom tropes. Why single? Because we want to make enemy waste his firepower. If he won't shoot them down, then these guys will protect whole army. If he will, and he will have to do it using quite a lot of firepower, because these guys, not standing in front, have got 3+ cover save. And with the enemies that can easily ignore cover, if they will direct market lights into these guys, or the wave serpent shots into them, yes, they will kill them. But this is these are market lights, and ignore cover saves shots that won't direct any other piece of your army. So if you're fighting against wave serpents at PAM, yes, you won't get, you shouldn't get used to them for too long, because they will most probably die in the first round, unless you've got there some kind of line of sight blocking terrain in the middle that you can hide it from enemy shooting. And thanks to the footprint of your army, of this army, they won't be very easy to them to jump at your back to be able to shoot at them. Okay, now you will say that this is just a round of shooting that won't get into the main strength of the army. Yes, but with the movement of Hormagaunts, you just might not need any more. Why? Because these guys move 6 inches, then run with fleet and plus 3 inches. That makes them move, let's say 12 inches, 12 plus inches per turn, up to 15 inches per turn. It's quite a long range. It can give you a second round charge easily. So now, let me tell you quickly about strengths of this list. First of all, speed. Second of all, number of bodies that most armies won't be able to deal with. Third of all, the footprint. These are the 3 main strengths of this army. With need for enemy to be precise about his target priority, which most of choices are bad ones. These guys can just flood over your enemy. It is not an easy army. Please let me explain it. It is not an army that actually is a kind of win switch army, because there are none that kind of armies in 40k nowadays. It will of course struggle with some kind of builds. For example, Tau Gunline, Farsight Bomb, maybe Eldar Serpent Spam. But that's all. Every other army that is nowadays so popular out there won't stand very strong against it. Why? Because, for example, Centurion Star or other Space Marine bikes army, or any kind of Flying Circus or Tyranid Monstrous Creature army. These are not armies that will be able to stand against such huge numbers of enemies. And again, this doesn't mean that you will win automatically against these guys and lose automatically against Tau Farsight Bomb. If you're a good player, you will be able to win against Tau, and if you're a crappy player or your enemy is very good, you will be able to lose against anything. Because this is how this game works. It's not always everything about the army. So try it. If you've got models, if you got enough guns, or even permission from your enemy to use proxies, try it. I dare you. Try it against a competitive list. Try it against the competitive players. I assure you that these guys will work quite well. So this is my version of Tyranid Horde army. If you agree with me, if you think that it is competitive, or you think that I'm insane and this can't work, just write it down in the comment below. I'm very curious of your opinions about this. Especially that this is just the second episode of my Strategos series, so I'm very interested in what do you think about it as well. And once again, I dare you to try this army. I think that it can give you quite a pleasant surprise, even against competitive enemies, in a competitive scene. You can fight against most Death Star, against most really competitive builds out there. Try it. I think it can give you quite a pleasant surprise. So it would be all for today. Next week I will talk a little bit about Vindicator Assassin, that in my opinion is one of the most powerful models actually out there. So thanks for watching, please like and subscribe and stay safe.